Welcome back, everybody. Glad to have you here on the Cabral Concept, this Mindset and Motivation Monday edition of the show. We're going to be going over the 2-day rule. It is a rule that I use in my own life to try not to fall too far behind, because let's face it, life does happen sometimes, right? So we have the best laid plans, the best set goals. We know exactly what we want to achieve, or at least we know what we want to move more towards. And then all of a sudden, a meeting pops up, a life event, a birthday, something not necessarily all that great, and we fall behind. What do? Well, we miss our workout. We have to order out that night food-wise or eat out, and it's not the best meal. Or maybe we have a drink because we're out with friends and we didn't even want to have that scheduled drink. Then we wake up the next morning and we're a little tired, we're a little groggy. We don't necessarily want to do the early morning workout or the walk or whatever it might be, right? And so the 2-day rule is something that we're going to use in order to not only get ourselves back on track, but hopefully don't mess up our mindset in the process. Because here's the thing, I've worked with so many individuals over the years, and this is what happens, just like we spoke about, right? So let's say that they are working on their digestive system and they're beginning the CBO protocol. And it's for the first 21 days, you want to follow that specific protocol that we give you, because we're going to do so much to work on the bloating, the gas, the acid reflux, the distension, the feeling like you have a lead balloon in your stomach, right? All of those different things. And so they're doing well on the plan. Monday, Tuesday goes well. Wednesday goes well, Thursday, Friday, and then all of a sudden, Friday night, they get thrown off. They have a flex meal, a cheat meal, something that they shouldn't have on their plan, and they're like, oh, well, you know what? Since I already messed up Friday night, you know what? I'm just going to go all in on the weekend. And then they have a bunch of drinks, they have a bunch of cheat foods, and they're just like, I'm just going to start Monday. Right? And so they go through the whole weekend, and then on Monday, and they're like, oh, you know what though? I don't feel that well anymore. I don't feel like I want to be going through this. I can't necessarily stop eating all of my favorite foods, because remember, once you begin to slide, it is so much easier to fall back into complacency to where you've always been. And so what we want to do is create friction on that slide. Because to go back to what you've always done before, it's like a slip and slide, right? It's like the pathway's already been greased. Really easy to do what we've always done. We're used to doing it, but it's harder to do something new. So what we want to do is implement something called the 2-day rule. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. I use it myself, especially with exercise. This is what it looks like, and then I'm going to share with you how we've been using our practice for years. So with me, I'll give you a really concrete example. I was celebrating my birthday not too long ago, and I like to joke around with my family, and I just enjoy that. I like to joke around with my daughters and my wife. And so I said, no, I'm not celebrating a birthday. I want to do a birthday week. And again, I'm half kidding, of course. But they took me out on Saturday night, and we went to a Cirque du Soleil show, which I always enjoy. They're fun. My daughters had never been. And so it was even more exciting, of course, to take my 2 young daughters and get to see them experience, this human feat under a tent. It's not really a circus, right? It's a performance. And they got to stay up late. But that means I also stayed up late, right? So they're way past their bedtime. I'm way past my bedtime too. We don't get back until midnight because the show's about an hour and a half away. And so that next day it was going to be a Sunday morning. I had a scheduled cardio session that I like to do earlier in the weekend because it's a free day, it's a relaxing day, and then I like to spend the whole day, my daughters and my family. But I like to go for that longer run on that day. So what did I do? Had to skip it. I didn't have to. Now the truth is I didn't have to, but I got only about 6 hours of sleep. We probably went to bed around 12:45. That's way past when I usually go to bed. Let's just call it 1 a.m. And no matter what, my body's really not going to let me sleep past probably 6:45, 7 a.m. So 6.5 hours sleep, maybe maximum. No, not even 6 hours of sleep. And so I said, I'm just not going to push it. And here's why. I've got all these things. I've got family coming in town. I've got to do a bunch of meetings, etc. I'm just not going to do Sunday's workout. Okay, so I created a little bit of slide for myself. I gave myself an easy day. Now, sometimes you can do that if you've been consistent, you've been sticking with it. And I also know my body, and I know how quickly it can build up inflammation. And I also look at this in the long term, right? I want to do this for another, ideally, 50 to 60 years. That's the minimum, right? But that's a long time, right? I'm in my mid 40s now, sliding towards my later 40s, and I want to be able to do this for a long time. But what I had to also understand that Sunday then wasn't going to be a full-blown cheat day in terms of foods, no exercise or anything. I stayed active, still got my walk in, still did these types of things. But on Monday, I said, all right, no matter what, we're back on schedule. And the 2-day rule simply states you can miss one day, life does happen, but you can never miss two. Never miss two. So I've had it happen before where I missed a day. I gave myself that day. I said, okay, no problem. I have it scheduled for tomorrow at 4:45. And then something's come up with work. This, that, and the other thing. No matter what, I still get it. Even if I had that work meeting, whatever it might be, I'll let my wife know. I just say, listen, can we do dinner a half hour later? I need to squeeze in a 30-minute workout or whatever it is, and I will fit those in. Because what I can't have happen is to look and to say, oh, you said these were priorities, but now it's starting to slide. Because I find even more so than the physical part is the mindset. If I allow myself to just say, oh, this week's blown, let's start again next week. Because I've seen this happen too often in my practice. It's exactly what happens. CBO protocol, whatever else it might be. They say, okay, I'm starting again on Monday. They start the plan on Monday, follow the specific foods, they're taking the supplements, and then late night meeting at the office. They end up all ordering in. And now they're like, oh, my diet's gone again. So they say, this week's out. And so then they say, I'll start again next Monday. Okay, well, we get 52 weeks in a year, right? You're just gone now too. So now you're down to 50 weeks, like in general, achieving your goals. But the other thing is that if you fall off that proverbial wagon enough, you won't get back on. That's the thing. So I always share with people, it doesn't matter to me if it's a CBO protocol to improve your gut, it's exercise, it's whatever it is. Don't even go the day. Like if you messed up at work on your diet at lunch, don't say, oh, well, then I'm just going to do whatever I want for dinner. No, get right back on. Right back on. Life happens. It is what it is. You don't even need to give yourself that full day for the 2-day rule. Much better to course correct immediately. So what I do is if I have a big flex meal, cheat meal the night before, well, I have 1 or 2 of those a week anyway. Like that's my thing. And that's because I want to still be able to enjoy any foods that I like while living a healthy lifestyle, as long as I am healthy, as long as everything checks out. That's what I want to continue to do. So typically, maybe it's a Thursday sometimes, but typically it's a Saturday night or a Friday night, and then maybe on Sunday. But that's it. And that's what I do. And I schedule those and I enjoy it. But I don't let it carry to the next day. That's the biggest thing, because inflammation then starts to compound. But even more so, it's a mindset. If you allow yourself to continually cheat on whatever your goals are, that's what starts to set in as who you are as a person, the priorities you set, and the goals that you want to achieve. You give yourself too much slack. So what I do is I say, I'm not going to beat myself up about missing a day of exercise, about missing a specific meal, about forgetting my nutritional supplements at a meal. I'm not going to get overly upset about that. I'm going to try to learn from it so it doesn't happen again, at least in that same way. But I'm going to get right back on track. So with the workout, with the day of eating, with the nutritional supplement protocol, whatever it might be, your binaural beats, your sauna, whatever it is, you say, okay, yeah, today was missed, but never 2 days in a row. If you make that promise to yourself, you're going to begin to solidify a level of discipline and resilience, as well as perseverance, that not only carries you through a lot of your body transformation or your wellness-based goals, it will sink into every part of your life. You're going to be someone that when they commit, you stick to it. And when an obstacle arises, you say, okay, yeah, you got me this time, but never again. Not 2 days in a row. I'm going to make it happen no matter what. If you can live by the 2-day rule, you will never fall that far behind on your goals. Hopefully today's show was helpful. I appreciate you being a part of this community. For all the shows, head on over to stephencabral.com/podcast. And of course, if the show was helpful, do feel free to share it with anyone you believe it could serve. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.